I am. We'll do the clap sync and a marker. Okay. Ready? Right. 3, 2, 1, mark. Oh, got it. That was it.
On your mark, get set. We're riding on the
Clueless
internet, cyberspace, set free. Hello, virtual reality. Interactive appetite, searching for a website, a window to the world, got to get online. Take a spin, now you're in with the techno set. You're going surfing on the internet.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Clueless Internet podcast. Episode is 18.6.
Yeah,
We'll go with 18.17.
Yes.
I'm your host Alex. I'm joined once again by the lovely voice of my friend Howard.
Hello, I'm not Alex.
No, I am me. Ow, I just punched my desk. I wish you were me now. Ow. Welcome back to another week of us just talking shit while we're in separate rooms because it kind of sucks not being able to record together, I have to admit.
I am an island.
You cannot get the same reaction as you can do. I feel like you can't get sort of the same energy.
We end up talking over each other a lot.
I know, it's a pain in the ass.
A few of the podcasts have said it like where they're struggling a little bit to do their usual format because they're just stumbling over each other.
The thing is, the difference with those is they probably do it on accident. I do it on purpose.
Fuck you, Alex.
Just every time you go to talk now, I just start talking.
What?
Huh?
What? What?
I just think...
Yes.
What?
What? Hey, Alex.
What?
What?
What? I can't hear anything.
Good.
What?
Good.
I mean, this week, I suppose, I haven't really been paying attention much to what's been happening in the outside world. We have quite a lot of gaming news, I suppose, to come up later. I do have a few little notes
Things
about
have
what's
happened.
been happening outside in the outside world, where nature is healing very slow, actually quite quickly, I have to admit. The canals are looking... I nearly jumped in the other day. But
Very canal-like.
it does look quite dirty towards the bottom, but the top half looks quite nice. If I could float on lily pads, it would be quite nice. But I'm not that light. So a little update, I suppose, for the British people out there. I don't know so much about...
me.
That's us.
That's me.
I think.
I'm a British people.
We can officially go outside as British peoples.
I don't want to.
Neither do I, to be honest.
I'm happy where I am.
I've made this my nest. I've gathered so many sticks. So we can
not
officially...
for anything in particular.
No. I just
Like
use
sticks.
them to stab people whenever I see them on the street. Stay 2 meters away, or I will stab you. We can actually just go outside normally now, and I say normally. We can go out and exercise more than once a day, I think, and
Yeah, which I've taken advantage of, to be fair.
you can actually sunbathe now as well legally.
Yay.
Which is I think coming up at sort of the perfect time, because I think we're supposed to have the hottest day of the year.
Resume horizontal baking.
Delicious.
Yummy.
Yeah, I think you can meet one other person out of your household, I think, now, as
Hey,
well.
that's you.
That is me, but I don't think it would be nice to carry our podcasting equipment in a park. Although...
We could record outside. We could record...
in nature.
I don't know where we'd get the electricity. I suppose we could get some remote record. Nah, sod it.
We'll have to
just carry
go
on
out
like this.
when it's really stormy and just wait for a really good electric spike from the sky.
Perfect
And that
conditions
should-
for recording a podcast.
That should work. All we need to do is set up like at least a 3 meter long metal pole. You hold it.
Yeah.
I'll stand at least 5 foot away with the equipment.
Yeah.
But I'll put a microphone facing your direction.
Yeah.
So we can probably hear the scream. I mean, your commentary. from all the way over there.
It's very tingly.
Are you getting much power? Yes, it's brilliant, Howard. Hello and welcome to the individual Clueless Internet podcast. Unfortunately, Howard couldn't be here today. Just in the background.
I'm a Christmas tree.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool. But apart from like the whole being fried to death
Apart
thing,
from the
but,
death bit, yeah.
we can skip that bit. We can now drive wherever we want now. For whoever that applies to, you can now go drive to your heart's content to places that you can't get out of the car because you don't want to touch people.
You can now be a statistic that drives.
Yes, you can now, instead of getting the coronavirus, crash and die. So that's take your chances wisely. For everyone else who's we did talk about the Premier League and football and stuff like that in the last episode towards the end of my recommendations. FNG, I'll give him another shout out this time. I like football. The Premier League and stuff will be starting again soon. The Bundesliga, the German league, has recently started up again. It's very odd to watch without a crowd, I have to admit.
Did you see the picture of the South Korean team's crowd?
No. Were they? Please tell me they were actually distanced apart and there were people there.
Hold on, let me see if I can find it for you. Carry on, I'll find the picture.
Oh, or was it the cardboard cutouts?
No, that's right, carry on.
I'm going to guess that I'm right. So yeah, the Premier League is going to be back. I think it's got to be within a matter of weeks because today they've started training again in small groups. And if I know football clubs, I know they do not like wasting money on getting people in. So they will take that opportunity to get games underway because I know Liverpool fans out there definitely want the season to be finished. And so do I. Oh, yes, they are perfectly spaced out. Brilliant. Oh, my God. Oh, no, I thought they were people. Okay, let me read this. South Korean football team apologizes for using sex dolls to fill stands. Oh, that is beautiful.
Perfection.
Oh, my goodness. I love how they've modelled them as well. Oh my God, they could have used mannequins. I thought it was real at first because oh my God,
I was going to say much more realistic.
This is so much better. Can we have this at regular games as well? Just dot them in between random people. Oh my goodness.
Oh dear.
Who gives a shit?
I love that they had to apologise. I'm like, what?
I know, yeah, I think that's...
They've got clothes on. If they've got clothes on, are they technically sex dolls anymore? Aren't they just mannequins now? Aren't they just anatomically correct mannequins?
Yeah, anatomically correct mannequins who know how to love you up.
Real nice.
I know where the players will go to celebrate now. I mean, they're covering the mouths and everything. It's a testament. Let me tell you, it's a testament to how kind of realistic they look, because that fooled me for a second. Oh God, that's brilliant. Yes, bring that to the Premier League. I will have it no other way. But yeah, so football's going to be back, so don't worry. It's going to be weird to watch it for a while because there's going to be fuck all in the stands unless they do this. I did see another club. I think it's a German club. I could be wrong. I will Google this. But they use cardboard cutouts. Cardboard cutouts. Where is it? Oh, here it is. It's Ingo Muller. Oh, wait a sec. No, this is Ingo Muller, a member of the... Mönchengladbach. Oh, it's Mönchengladbach. They are using, just cardboard cutouts of people for the stadium instead of sex dolls. But I think I prefer the South Korean version. What did you say, sorry, bud?
Oh, yeah, but look, I'm guessing these are fans and stuff. See, that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, no, that's cool, though. That's fan service. That's awesome.
You send your picture in, and they'll put it on. I don't know if you have to verify that you're a Mönchengladbach fan, but if you are, send your photo in.
I certainly am a cardboard cutout.
My personality is as flat as one.
A little bit shiny
I love
too.
I do love how they're not like perfectly cut out, so you just see people's backgrounds and stuff. I want to see who has the worst background.
A little bit of foliage here, a little bit of a sex dungeon there.
Oh god! Oh no! Oh no! What's worse, the sex dolls or sex dungeon? Maybe we should put them together.
Both.
Oh my god! You could have that South Korean team versus Mönchengladbach, and then you just have one end full of sex dolls, one end full of cardboard cutouts. Problem solved.
Perfection.
And Howard, my last bit of Corona news, I suppose, is we can all rejoice here in the UK as
Rejoice.
we have been saved. KFC is back. And
limited stores only.
500 stores, limited to 500 stores. Apparently they're going to be opening 500 stores by the end of the week, so no need to fret. I've
already
to admit,
fraught.
I drove past one, and goddamn, did it smell fucking good. I was very tempted to get in the line, but that line was very fucking long. So
are they doing drive-through only, or are they doing deliveries again?
I'm going to guess they're doing drive-through only. I didn't see anyone parked up.
Yeah.
I just saw a shit ton of cars in the queue, which I will not be joining anytime soon. Delivery, please. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll
wait.
To me.
I'll wait till delivery, yeah.
I will wait. And I think unless you've got anything to add, Howard, I think that is all we've got for real-life news.
I don't think I have. Have we heard anything else about Kim Jong-un yet? Or is
Kim Jong-un, I haven't had any
or has that been quiet?
I haven't had anything come through yet. I think he missed another event or something, so they may still be quite worried. Oh, actually, we do have a little bit of other news. Hydrochloroquine is the name of
Yas, Queen.
Hydrochloroyas Queen is going to be on the menu in the US, I suppose, because now the big Donny has started taking it now, and you kind of explained to me earlier, just before we started recording, where that whole thing came from. Would you like to reiterate that, where this whole injecting disinfectant and using light beams inside of yourself?
Oh, that was the very quickly, the hydrochloroquine is technically used by doctors for COVID and things like that. It can also be used for other things in different capacities, such as fish tanks and things like that. Not fish tanks, I think it's bigger than that, more industrial. But some idiots
Shark tanks.
Yeah, but some idiots basically took this cleaner, which utilises some of the same ingredients, and died. And then the media did its usual runaway orange man bad thing.
Orange man bad.
Yeah, essentially, it's safe if a doctor knows what he's doing and uses it. It's perfectly fine. It's not going to kill you, not unless he's going to inject you with fucking tank cleaner. And
don't let them inject you with the shark tank.
Yeah.
Like, if it's got a picture of a shark on the front, don't drink that or don't inject that, please.
And the whole Trump thing with the swallowing lights and injecting yourself with disinfectants was all... He was talking about things that he had basically half listened to and half paid attention to, because they have been looking at ways to use UV light, essentially the same way they clean hospital rooms and stuff like that, essentially seeing if there's a way they can get UV light into the body, essentially, to kill the virus. And obviously the hydrochloric was like the whole misinterpretation between disinfectants and he basically used all the wrong words and spoke all the wrong things. He's still a complete and utter moron, but it wasn't completely baseless. It was based on things that the doctors and scientists around him are actually trying to do, but he's just a fucking pleb and just doesn't listen to a fucking word anyone says. And then he saw a sign on the way into the press conference that was basically some quick guidelines for keeping yourself safe. So it was talking about like the UV light and And using disinfectants and stuff like that, and he just kind of conglomerated a bunch of half facts in his head and went on stage.
And then spawned that beautiful video that we played 2 episodes ago. I think it was.
Like I don't like the guy, and he's a shit president, and all these other things. But at the same time, he's not a shit president. He's done some good things. But every president's capable of some good work. But at the same time, like the whole media runaway thing with the Orange Man bag thing, and just like jumping on every little thing that happened. So like it was Trump's fault that these people took this chemical, even though it's a well-known substance if it's used correctly, all that kind of stuff. So,
I think that is
so between Trump and the media, they're just a conglomeration of fuckheads.
Yeah, I think we can agree on that one. I think that's partially why I think I like reading the news in Britain over sort of the news in America, because I feel like a lot of American media is either just attacking one side or the other.
Yeah, a lot of British tabloid shit does that as well, but
we shit on everyone. Our tabloids just shit on everyone, sort of more or less equally. I'd say maybe not the BBC.
Not the obvious ones like the Sun. There's obvious ones that are more focused towards the right, and ones that are more focused towards the left. Both have their own shitty tabloids that print their own shitty bollocks. Some of them are worse than others. The Sun.
I wish it would just explode already.
And just take us all with it. Corona style.
The newspaper, not the not the Sun. But
sure. Sure, yeah.
I don't know where I'm going with this. Just use the Sun to disinfect yourself,
I was
basically.
making a link between the Sun and the Corona, the light around the Sun, and explode. Never mind.
Oh, that's too smart for me.
No, it's not. Don't be silly. I've just smashed my desk now.
Seems like it's too smart for you as well. When I was thinking about this as well, I was thinking I've been watching recently the show 24 Hours in A&E, just sort of on the side. Just
it's a lie. It's an hour.
Fucking, if that was an hour, nurses and doctors deserve at least 50 times more.
It was only on for an hour. Rubbish.
I wanted actual live streams. I want to see the gushing blood. No, I do not. Please, no. And I was thinking to myself, like, sort of the things that get pushed in America. You get a lot of advertisements for like medication and stuff, obviously, because everything is just sold to you and stuff like that.
Erectile dysfunction pills and
whereas
else.
Over here you sort of just get paracetamol, or you get like ibuprofen advertised, and I thought, oh god, I mean, anything a doctor says to me, I'm just going to take to heart, because I'm going to be like, you've studied essentially me for the past 20 years or 10 years or however long a medical degree is. I would just trust your word. And I was thinking, I'd just do that every time. But when I think about the whole American system, do I really want to risk going to the hospital for something that may not be a problem and having to pay extortionate fucking prices? Like, how much
just
is
for
it
walking
to get
through
an
the front
ambulance?
door?
Yeah, like just an ambulance is like a couple grand, I think, just to call it an ambulance.
It's enough to make you shit your pants and cry.
It's enough to make me just go, shut it off. Just shut it off. I'm done.
America?
Yeah. Just shut it off. But yeah, oh god, I am so thankful for the NHS. I said it last episode. I'm going to say it probably every episode ever. That I'm so thankful. The nurse. I'm so. Nurse.
The nurse.
I think he's having a stroke. The nurse.
Get the nurse.
But so that's pretty much it. I think I'm done with all real life news.
All
this
that
week.
sad shit.
So now we're moving on to our virtual news, our gaming news. We're rebranding the podcast. It's no longer the Clueless Internet podcast. It's the
Very Smart Boy Know a Lot podcast about games.
The big brain, the big wrinkle brain boy podcast. And sort of the first one that I have for you, Howard, I know you've got at least 3 topics that I know you're excited to talk about that has happened over the last week, but I wanted to hit you with one to slow your roll. The one that I've got for you is, and I did write this before watching another video that kind of just debunked this whole thing, but June 4th is supposed to be the Slate of PlayStation event. So I've got this Twitter account called Jeff Grubb, and this is
he's no scrub.
He is no scrub. He's a grub. So this is welcome to Jeff Grubb's Summer Game Mess. So
very nice.
Sorry, all
of
the links to everything that we've talked about today will be in the description or at cluelessinter.net, because some of the descriptions are just shit. So you're more than likely going to find it there. So if you scroll down, Howard,
I am scrolling.
If you scroll down to find the latest image of this sort of collection of
the one with
boxes.
This list of things.
The list of things. So I think
things. Yes.
I think it is from May 18th is the latest one.
I think May 11.
May 18th.
12, 13. Found it.
Okay, so that's the latest one. Now, when I wrote about this, which was a few days ago, June 4th was going to be the Slate of PlayStation event, and I think essentially it would be about the same thing as the Xbox event was. I think people were blowing it out of proportion a bit, saying it's going to be the reveal of the console. It's going to show everything. I think I'm going to die.
I already have.
But just give it to me. But he did just to sort of give this guy a bit of credibility. He's predicted things before, like he did predict I don't think he predicted them. I think he knows. I think he's like an insider, and he just posts these because it doesn't look like he has the most biggest following. So it might be like a little bit of.
It says here early August state of play. That would sound more in line with a console reveal.
Yes, I think that one might be it.
Yeah.
But we do have early June, which is a PlayStation event, and I think that's going to be very reminiscent to the Xbox event that we talked about last week.
Game footage, stuff like that.
Yeah. I think that PlayStation may take another. Do you remember at the E3 when they revealed the Xbox One? And the PS4 and stuff like that. Do you remember how they took sort of a shot at them at saying, "Oh, this is how we share games," and then just gave a game to the other person?
Yeah.
Because Xbox was doing a whole, we're not doing real.
The games
copies.
are going to have IDs. They're going to be tied to you. You can't do shit. Fuck you. Yeah.
And you can't share with your friends because we're really selfish.
We're the only friends you need.
Yes, the big conglomerate called Xbox. Don't add me on Xbox Live though. I'll block you.
I'm wearing my X socks.
My egg socks. Squelch.
Good for you.
But if this is right, so we're recording this. We're recording this on May 19th. So if the Mafia Trilogy trailer, if it's come out today, this guy is right.
I was going to say I've seen some of the screenshots for it. I haven't seen the trailer yet, though.
So as far as I know, this guy is a credible source. Obviously, take everything, not just of this, everything of the podcast with a whole cup of salt.
We're also recording about 9:00 in the evening, which means they've
UK time.
Yeah, so in America it's what on the West Coast? What? Yeah, about 9 minus. So it's about 2-3 o'clock.
2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, so we may get it tomorrow morning then.
So we shall see. There's still time in the day for them to release it, so we shall see.
All right, so I'll run through what the list says. So it says, because we've just been talking about this without describing anything that's on screen. So we've got May 19th, which is a Mafia Trilogy trailer. June 2nd, which is Mel Gibson picture, which I am very interested to see what the fuck that means. We've got early June, which is a PlayStation event, which I think will be the reminiscent of the Xbox event. So early June. I think it was supposed to be for June 4th, but I think they pushed it back a little bit, but not by much. I think, what is June 4th? Is June 4th a weekend? Oh no, June 4th is the Thursday. So I think they'll probably push it back to June 6th, which is a Saturday.
Yeah.
Personally. So then we have June 6th, which is the Guerrilla Collective Day 1. I'm not sure what that is. June 7th, Guerrilla Collective Day 3. Day 2, sorry. June 8th is Day 3. Then you've got June 9th to June 14th, which is the Steam Game Festival Summer Edition. You got second week of June, which is Xboxing Day. I think, so that will be the second of the Xbox event. So the one that happened last week is going to be a monthly event.
Yeah.
And this one that's coming up next month, I think is going to show more of the heavy hitters rather than sort of the side project indie. Not that they are lesser of a game. But,
yes, they are.
But yeah, they are. I mean, they're not Halo and stuff like that. So I think that may come then, and then the month after that will probably be the console reveal. Don't hold me to that, but that is what I'm saying. And it's definite. It's definite. It's definite. It's going to happen. So don't just bet on it. Bet your life savings on it. I dare you.
Doing it right now.
5 pence. Can't wait. So June 11th should be the Cyberpunk 2077 event, which I'm kind of looking forward to, but at the same time I've kind of not kept up very much with Cyberpunk. I'm playing so many games at the minute that are just so many hours.
I liked the initial trailer I saw, and I think I watched one of the gameplay trailers. I'm just kind of like, I was kind of sold on it then. I'm just like, oh, just give me the game. When it comes out, I'll play it. But until then, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I don't need to see any more of it. I already kind of decided I'm going to play it. So
I kind of don't like when they show too much of it.
They showed it too early as well. It's been far too long in the pipeline.
It's lost its hype a little bit, I think.
It has. Like, I was hyped for it when it was first shown, and now I'm like, okay, game? I just want to play it.
I can't remember when it was first shown. I think it was shown years before any gameplay was shown.
Yeah.
I think it was shown at an E3. It was sort of like, do you remember when Watch Dogs was shown off for the first time and everyone was like, fuck, shit me, this looks amazing.
Oh, you can hack people.
I'm gonna do it in real life.
I'm gonna hack the world.
Give me your phone. Hacked. And then, so on the same day, on June 11th, we got the EA Play Live. And then July, I'll just rattle off these. July 11th, Warframe Tenacom 2020, if you know what that is. July 12th is a Ubisoft E3 thing, apparently.
That's a thing.
It's going to be a Assassin's Creed. Oh, talking about the Assassin's Creed Valhalla, there was some talk about the reason they didn't show any gameplay was political reason, not political reasons, but sort of they wanted to save the gameplay for their own event, really.
Yeah.
Which I can totally fucking see. July will be the Xbox Game Studios reveal, so that will be the one where they're showing. So I think the one next month will be the sequels and stuff like that. So, the new Halo, the new Gears of War, the new whatever, and then they might just show new IPs and stuff like that third-party developers are working on, maybe, and they might show the console. Who gives a shit at this point? we know what it is. And then this July event will be where they're showing games made by Obsidian and the people who made State of Decay, or the ones that are the Microsoft exclusives.
I wonder if Obsidian's got anything in the pipeline yet, or if... I think it's probably too early.
I would assume so.
It'd be too early to show anything there.
I don't think they'll have any gameplay, but I think they may have maybe a cinematic trailer or something. Yeah. So then we've got a Riot event and Blizzard event either for June or July. Early August is State of Play, so I think that might be, because PlayStation just like to take their fucking time. I reckon that will be their version of the Xbox Studios reveal, because I think they might be a bit smarter, saying, we'll save it until like maybe a month or two before the actual release of the console.
Well, there's a certain amount for keeping the hype close to the release.
Yeah, definitely. Oh god, I'm so hyped for the PlayStation, and I know nothing about it.
I remember Fallout 4 was probably one of the most perfect promotion campaigns I ever saw. They were just like, there was no news about it. Some rumblings about a Fallout game being set in Boston, and then they literally just dropped a trailer and went, it'll be out very soon. Oh, here's a mobile game that's out now. And they were literally just like, they just threw everything at you all in one go, and they were like, well, it'll be out soon, you ain't got to wait long. So I think that was probably one of the best promotions I ever saw for like a games-based kind of thing, at least in recent years. And I think that's the best way to do it. Keep the hype close to the release.
I agree. Yeah. I totally agree. Just imagine I'm the customer as a dog or something, and then the games company has like a nice looking piece of steak in front of me. If you let it just sit there for a few months, I'm gonna lose interest. But if you throw it instantly, I'm fucking on that, even if it's moldy as shit, because I don't know, and I'm probably gonna buy it even if it's just a shit game. Basically, I'm saying that I'll buy any old shit if they hype me up enough to release it the next day.
There's a lot of games that I was very interested in early on, and then the interest kind of died off because they showed it too early.
I have the thing where just people get review copies and stuff, and then they just tell me that it's shit before the game comes out, and I'm like, thank you very much for saving me the money of buying it, but you could have waited, and then I would have fell for that like a sucker. So that's our Jeff Grubb. That's our Jeff Grubb guy. So that's something to keep in mind.
I'm gonna. Am I logged into the right account? I want to follow her.
But I'm going to like that tweet so I can keep it for later, because I think he keeps updating it and stuff. Yeah. Oh, I do see on the side, however, The Last of Us Part 2 is trending, but I'm not clicking on
why.
it.
Well, hold on, I've already seen a few, so let me look for you.
If you take a look at that. So yeah, I just reckon this PlayStation event is just going to be another Xbox event. I wouldn't get too hyped for it, but then still get kind of hyped. What are people saying about The Last of Us?
I know what this is for. I saw an advert for it earlier. I will literally just grab this for you very quickly.
Is it spoilers? Because we know there's so many spoilers. I'm going to avoid the comment section like a plague.
Well, that's why I'm just going to grab this for you so you don't have to go anywhere near it. Whoop.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you protecting my innocence.
How do I just... Whoa, I missed that completely. There we go, okay. Boop, 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 boop.
I'm just going to be quiet so you can cut this out, I suppose.
That's all right, carry on, sorry.
Okay, oh, hello. Okay, so there's a custom...
Very nice. Custom PlayStation 4.
I don't think I'm a big fan of the whole Last of Us Part 2 being on the actual what is it, the sensor pad thing.
It looks a bit odd there, yeah.
I think you could have maybe put an insignia there or something. I feel like you've just sort of gone, shit, where should we put it? put that on the back, dude.
Well, they've put it on the front of the PlayStation as well. I'm not sure I'm keen on that.
Have they put? Oh, so they've put The Last of Us. I do like that that insignia. I
like the logo.
On the thing.
I like that. Is that a cicada? Not a cicada. Damn it! What's that?
Cedar.
What was that?
Oh no! What you? I can't even see.
It was that weird cipher.
I have no idea.
There was a weird cipher thing. It looks a bit like that, with a little like moth on it. But yeah, you can kind of see it down the side there, along the front. The Last of Us Part 2. I'm not sure I like it at the front either.
I can see it. Yeah,
I just want that insignia, I think.
Yeah, I kind of. It's not a very pleasing name, The Last of Us Part 2. I think The Last of Us on its own is kind of just. It looks nice, but then when you've got the Part 2, it's just sort of like, oh god, it's a bit much.
It's
but
a bit much.
Obviously, you have to have the Part 2. They should have just called it Last of Us 2 instead of Part 2. I'm not a big fan of Part 2, but then it sets it apart, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, thank you. That is a nicer picture of the controller. Yeah, I'm not. Oh, actually, it doesn't look too bad. I like that actually.
I like the little leaf decal.
I think maybe just stick it somewhere fucking else. I don't want to see that. Oh no, that is a nice. Oh, those are some nice headphones, actually.
I like
oh, those are really nice.
The internal material to
I
those
do
are
like
really
the look
nice.
of those. Okay, you've redeemed yourself, PlayStation. Those are some nice looking fucking headphones. They probably don't sound great, but they look nice. All right, all of these pictures will be in the description and everything. What is that? Is that a hard drive?
I think it is, yeah.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. The way that they've done The Last of Us Part 2 on that, that's nice. I do like that.
I'll get the link to the original tweet and put that in there somewhere.
That is very nice. All right. So, Howard, I suppose we've been saving this, not for last, but the middle. Unreal Engine 5. The reveal was later last week. I think it wasn't the day after we recorded, or the day after we released the
pretty
podcast?
much, yeah. We started talking about it immediately after.
So this Unreal Engine 5 is what was it? I'm going to assume it was Unreal Engine 4 before that.
Yes, a lot of games are currently running on 4. I can't remember what year 4 came out. Was it 2014?
Oh, I'm pretty sure Dragon Ball Z Kakarot was made in Unreal.
It's a very versatile engine. You can do quite a lot on Unreal. I mean, for a game that comes from a company that originally based it all on like FPS, Unreal 5 is Unreal 4, sorry, is very versatile. Unreal 5 looking only more versatile.
Just incredibly more versatile. So do you want to have a little talk about that? Because I honestly, a lot of it confuses me. I do have a video for everyone towards the end of the episode that can help you understand it a bit more, but most of the jargon goes over my head. Well,
essentially, they kind of broke the video down into a couple of pieces of technology. I think it was so you got Lumin, which is the new lighting system, Nanite, which is their new geometry,
sort of their modeling system.
Modeling and compression kind of system. It's for environments and everything else. And then you've got Niagara, which is already something they've got, but it's they've improved it for the 5. It's an improved particle system, which allows particles which can be used to create like bugs and bats and insects and things like that. It can be that can now talk to itself and its environment, so you can have things move through the environment and interact with the environment rather than just like clipping through walls and stuff randomly.
Now, see, I will talk. We can talk about that later, and I think that is probably the one that impresses me a lot more than the lighting and the sound and everything. I feel like
when you saw
sort of thing.
When you saw the bugs react
impressive.
to the lighting and stuff.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, very clever.
So we'll leave a link to the video in the description if you haven't seen the showcase. I would recommend probably just watching the showcase unless you know all the technical terms, because Tim Sweeney goes off on one about all shit that's in it, and it's interesting, but kind of hard to keep up with, basically.
Yeah.
But so essentially, the video starts off and it shows you this. This lumen effect that it does, and it's just it's I want to say it's ray tracing, but
it's beautiful. Well,
it is partly ray tracing.
Yeah. Well, it's using methods of ray tracing. Like technically, you can say games use ray tracing today, but the developers use ray tracing when they're producing the game, and then they bake that ray tracing information into textures, into specular maps and diffuse maps and stuff like that, so that the textures themselves can kind of radiate back that lighting, like they're kind of the emitter for that lighting. They're not actually bouncing any light, they're simulating that bouncing light,
which is why the light doesn't change in scenes or anything. So you could probably just stand there in whatever scene it is that looks incredible, but the lighting won't change.
Yeah, technically we've been using ray tracing for years. I mean, the first fully ray traced film was Toy Story. It
doesn't surprise me, it's always at the forefront of fucking everything.
Well, when you consider what ray tracing is, if you were to actually make a game that actually used ray tracing, it would run at 0.1 0.9 frames a second, like ridiculously low. Because
Is that with a beefy ass computer as well?
Yeah, because if you actually ray trace something, it can take several hours, even on a good computer, to render out the final still image. Because ray tracing is actually the method that's used, which they've kind of named this new real-time global illumination after. So they call it ray tracing because it follows the same system. It uses initial light, which is the first pass of light and the first time light bounces off something, and then it records the indirect light, which is light that then bounces around, bounces off objects, takes in light from other objects, because when light bounces in real life, if it bounces off off a surface of a particular tone, obviously light is white, but you can split that up into a spectrum. As that white light travels through atmosphere and as it bounces off of things, it actually loses some of its colour, because some of those surfaces absorb that colour. Black obviously being the most absorbent, which is why like when you get the sun on you wearing a black t-shirt, you get really, really hot.
And why, if you like shine light through a blue bottle or a blue piece of plastic at any surface, or mostly white, it will turn blue itself.
Yeah, so true ray tracing follows that and simulates real life, and basically follows those virtual photons around, and takes all that data. It takes so long because it actually simulates that, so it actually follows the photon stuff. Whereas this Lumen system, it does that for a moment. It'll build up light, so it will do the initial light. The light will hit, then it will bounce. It'll hit something, bounce off of that, maybe bounce off another thing, all the while simulating the reduction in color and stuff, which is why you could see in the indirect light, you could kind of see like misty color in the lighting. That's where, like, obviously light's been absorbed by one surface and then and bounced off the remaining light and all that other stuff, which is why obviously it gets incrementally lower the lower the further away from the light source it gets. But it does that, maybe, I don't know how many times, but it does it. The guy called it a temporal something, because it basically it takes that for a small amount, and then puts that kind of on repeat. So it kind of simulates a continuous stream of photons hitting something, but actually it's the same few photons just bouncing around and around and around and around.
Yeah, so it's not as intensive.
It's not as intensive. It uses memory, and then and it will keep doing that until you move the light source, because when you move the light source, it will now need to propagate the light in a different way, because obviously it's bouncing off of different angles and stuff like that. So technically, yes, it is ray tracing, because it will do that every time you move the light source.
But it's just not continuous at full sort of capacity.
It's kind of like baking information into a texture. You're kind of baking light into a little code pattern, essentially. But
live.
Yeah, so it is doing live global illumination, but it's not technically, like, when I say it's not technically ray tracing, like real ray tracing, it can take several hours for this is why they have render farms and stuff like that. It can take several hours to render out a single frame of something that's truly ray traced.
Yeah.
Because ray tracing is just the name of the method, essentially, and obviously this does use ray tracing, but obviously they've optimized it to a ridiculous level, cut it down. You don't need a continuous flow of virtual photons in a video game, because you can just create these cycles, because you can just use algorithms, because you're not trying to create one perfect image, you're trying to create hundreds of thousands of imperfect images that create an illusion of a perfect image, essentially.
Plus, 9 times out of 10, a lot of the sort of geometry in the world won't be moving a lot. Like in this demo, the gorge and stuff like that isn't really moving apart from the character, so it will have to redo it as the character moves and as it goes on to things that are moving. But while it's static, I assume it sort of just goes, you've been the same for like the past 1 second, I'll leave you alone.
Well, this is the thing, when the character moves and the camera moves, you don't need to you don't need to. The light source is if the light source is still in the same place, you don't need to recalculate that information because that light has actually, on a 3-dimensional space, propagated that area. So once it fills that area with the light, it then kind of records that and puts that on a loop in 3D space. So as you move through it, it's perfectly fine. But if the sun was to suddenly move across the sky, or if it was to slowly move across the sky, as that moves, and light particles would then come out and bounce off of geometry differently, because the light might slightly bounce off a different part of the crevice and bounce this way, then it has to repropagate the light. So anytime the light source is moving, it's going to be using the most amount of hardware at that point. But then once the light source stops moving, essentially that's when you can the software takes over, creates a little algorithm of that information and kind of puts it on a compressed loop, so that you don't have to have a constant stream of light of information for the light. I can't imagine what a next gen port of Red Dead Redemption 2 would look like. Well, I mean, even hardware accelerated ray tracing, which is the thing which everyone was getting confused about, hardware accelerated ray tracing, even that isn't true ray tracing. It's just based after the method of how it propagates the light and how it uses that light. If you were to truly ray trace something, something that you would see, when you see photorealistic renders, they're pixel perfect because you only need one frame, but it can take several hours to render that out. Very true, yeah. Whereas these, because it's all in motion, and a lot of the time your eyes, it doesn't need to be pixel perfect. You're going to miss a lot of it. And in fact, in that breakdown video we watched earlier, he shows you where the global illumination actually breaks down around the model, because it's not actually live. It is live, but it's not actually. They're doing a lot of things to simulate that kind of, including. I can't remember exactly what it said. This is why it's so fucking confusing. But he was like, they can now take some of that data and kind of bake it the way you bake textures. You can bake that into some much more basic kind of textures now, essentially. You don't need to bake several layers of specular and this and that and this and that. You just need to bake a few very basic 8K quality textures in these things, and essentially the engine will do the rest. The key thing about this engine is the optimization and the control it takes for you. You don't need to think of everything for the engine, because the engine will think of most of those things for you. You just need to got it way before you thought of it. You put the thing in the engine, and then the engine will optimize around it. It's very impressive. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I did see an early video before anyone sort of got a chance to break down the video, just talking about it and saying that people were saying, it can only run at 4K 30 FPS and stuff, and people say, it's because it's an early build, it's not optimized, which I still do believe. I still do believe that it's not the most optimized that it can be. Of course, which is not still incredible to me. This is what I couldn't understand people who were upset that it wasn't in 60 frames per second. I'm like, guys, it doesn't come out till mid 2021. 2021, yeah. They are giving you a very early peek, a beta version of the software. Of course, it's not running at 60 frames per second. Incredibly impressive. And they still rendered it at, what was it, 1440? Not rendered, but live streamed it. Live streamed at, what was it, 1440p? That's still pretty damn good for a beta version of the engine that can do cinematic level geometry and lighting. And did you see how much shit was on screen at the end? Oh god, yeah, when they show you the statues and when she's just flying. Just after the statues, when she's flying, and you can see when she lands for half a second and runs across that ground. All I can keep doing is looking at the ground where she runs, just that was rendered for 0.5 of a second, and it was it looks amazing. And it was the most beautiful floor I've ever seen in a video game. So what that guy was saying, that it was unoptimized. It was an early build, which yes, it is. Yeah. But the thing is incredibly optimized. There's a video that I'm going to recommend towards the end, which sort of breaks down this video and others and stuff like that. Gives it into
idiot-friendly versions for me. Perfect for me, basically. And he explained that the statue in that room and the statues that came later in the bigger room was, I think it was optimized to I think it was over 1 billion. I don't know if it was over 1 billion triangles or something, but it was compressed down to 20 million.
Yeah, it takes those and crunches the numbers down to 20 million, then renders that back, but losslessly. So a bit like video compression, like a good 1080p video can be actually like less than a gig sometimes, but it looks great. That's through lossless compression, essentially.
That is fucking incredible.
And to be able to do that with geometry, never mind just like binary data and stuff like that. Like, I mean, and geometry is binary, but like it takes so much more to compress like geometry to that level. It's ridiculous.
And it looked incredible. I think sort of the last thing that I have on this really is the thing that impressed me the most was the dynamic animations that she had. I'm such a huge nerd for the little details in things. Like every game that I play, I sort of just see what I can interact with in the world. Like I say, can I break this tree? Will I, like in GTA, if I hit this tree, will it break or will I do something? One
of the things about Red Dead Redemption was I loved all of those animations that were kind of interactive. They weren't stale animations. They were a little slow, but essentially the animations could kind of link into each other and stuff like that. It was very clever the way they had, because every time you'd fucking open a drawer, you had to wait for the whole animation to kind of play out. But at the same time, they were kind of... It was weird. I like it when animations become very interactive, where it's fluid. Not... Yeah, I don't like stiff animation. One of the best things ever was when Half-Life and Half-Life 2 and several other games introduced ragdoll physics for the bodies and stuff. This is kind of like the next big leap in that, is where you're having animations that can be live manipulated by the environment.
And that is the most impressive thing to me. Like this lighting is brilliant. The whole getting the geometry down. The sound is brilliant as well. The fact that it just simulates everything around and does that. But the animation was the thing that I think I stopped. I paused the video and was like, "Fuck, that's awesome," because I'd be playing games so often where I'm running into a wall, or like I'm you get stuck in sort of a run animation when you're running towards like the corner of a room, or you're running towards a door and the door doesn't like load properly, and then your character's just sort of moonwalking in the middle of the room or something. But if they were able to have a walk animation, and then as soon as you got towards the wall, you would put your arms out and then just like sort of ease up against it, and they didn't have to sort of code that in, and that wouldn't happen every time, and then like you'd walk up to a table and you'd put your hands on it, that would completely immerse me. That would immerse me so much more than any of this lighting or textures or anything like that.
There are instances of that. I mean, the earliest instance of that I can remember is probably Assassin's Creed, when you'd first walk into crowds, and you would start putting your arms up.
Oh my goodness, like, when I saw that, my head could have exploded.
that I remember the reveal for the original Assassin's Creed game, and they were showing that off, and I was like, it's amazing. Now it's such a small thing in computer games, but to the level, like, obviously, because basically now that they've got such a high level of detail of geometry, that you can't just then put current animations into that. Now it's like, well, no, they're going to step on the ground, and their foot's not going to interact with the ground properly. There could be like, there's some stones have fallen here to there, and there that foot's got to kind of that foot's just got to kind of lilt upwards slightly over that rock and stuff. So I think that's what they're going for with this new animation system, is something that interacts with their new high detailed geometry environments. Because you couldn't have that environment and then put a shitty animation cycle in it.
Or you could. I mean, I'll probably still buy it.
But it would completely ruin that immersion, that realism of the environment. And then you've got a character who kind of hovers around a lot and never quite puts his feet on the ground.
Yeah. It had it sort of in...
you need a whole new collision system, essentially, to go with a whole new geometry system. So hopefully... everything is as fine-tuned as that reveal trailer was.
Yeah, that was another point that I wanted to make. I can't wait to see a non-Unreal source for this game.
Well, I want to see it. I want to see the engine running, not a video of the engine. I want to see the engine running, and then I'll believe it.
Yeah, I want to see someone open the program, open a game, then play it.
Yeah.
Then I will be official. I'm already sort of blown to the back of the room, but I will be out the wall if somebody can somebody can show me that.
Imagine the level of detail VR games are going to get now.
Well, the thing, I mean,
they're already pretty detailed now, but imagine that, like, playing a VR game in that engine, if it works as well as it currently stands.
See, that's kind of dangerous. I'd forget to take the headset off. But at the same time as well, if you think about how games were just before the PlayStation 4, like how just before the PlayStation 4 came out, and now look at them towards the end of the PS4 lifespan, this is the beginning of the next generation, and we're already sort of blown away. I mean, I feel like we've got quite high standards when it comes to graphics and gameplay and stuff like that now, due to the high quality of games that are already out. And as I say, this is the entry level. This is entry level.
Like I say, you've got to take it with a grain of salt. Like some people have said, like, it might not be quite all it's hyped up to be, or that not every engine's going to look like this. This is what Unreal's taken the time out of their work to create this, to put all the effort in, and obviously it's to sell.
This is AAA quality. Let's just say.
But the thing is, ignoring the fact that it's AAA quality, Unreal Engine, if I remember rightly, you don't purchase Unreal Engine. You just use it?
No, you don't. You just use it, yeah.
One of the things that they've recently announced, I don't know if it's now or if it's when Unreal 5 comes out, is it's now on the first $1 million of revenue. They've bolted up, so you can make $1 million before they will ask you for revenue for the game, essentially.
Fuck, okay. That is a big incentive.
A lot of people have said that this is going to be the thing that kicks Unity to the curb, essentially, because obviously up until now that's what Unity does, is it offers indie developers a chance to make at least industry standard quality games. Obviously the thing is, a lot of stuff that comes out of Unity looks like shit, so people imagine Unity being shit, but actually if you put the work in, Unity can create some really nice looking stuff, but at the same time this kind of kicks that out of the water and goes, you ain't got to pay us anything until you've made $1 million of revenue. That means if your game doesn't do that great, you pay us nothing.
Yeah, your game can look fucking brilliant, but you don't have to pay us a single dime.
Yeah, until you make $1 million, then you can license our license out, essentially.
But now, Howard, you know what you've done. Now we need to wait until the Unity engine reveal. Unity Engine 5 comes out.
I have a feeling from the way I don't think Unity is going to ever be able to catch up with Unreal. It's on a different level. Unity was designed to be the kind of indie space.
Sort of the entry level.
Yeah, and I think it will remain that. I think that's where it will remain, though. I think it will be the entry level kind of thing where people kind of get to know game building on a level that's slightly more difficult than Dreams.
I don't think I ever want to make a game that looks anything less than this one, though, now.
Well, like I said as well, people have got to remember that this engine doesn't come out till next year, so even people on the early development list, that means that Unreal 5 games won't be coming out till 2024, 2025.
Yeah,
so
it's going to be a while.
Yeah, so up until then, at least, anyway, I have a feeling that actually the beginning of the PlayStation 5 games probably aren't going to look as good as this. Actually, they are going to struggle a little bit. I think they're going to be waiting for the optimized kind of games to come out, because up until then, they're going to be using the full hardware accelerated ray tracing, and I think that's actually going to become at a massive cost, and I think games aren't actually going to be quite as big and as explosive as this Unreal 5 engine shows off until people have got to grips with the Unreal 5 engine, developed a game and released it. So I think people are going to be like, they lied to us when the consoles come out, because I don't think games are quite going to impress you as much as this. But it's not that they lied to you, it's just that you've got an unrealistic expectation of time.
Oh yeah, I don't expect any game to look like this. At least for the first year or two. I expect the sort of the first exclusive games, like let's say Halo or God of War, the exclusive games for the console to blow me away. Maybe they've got something in the bag. But other than that, I'm not really expecting a hell of a lot.
I have a feeling to utilise the full hardware acceleration, games are going to have to sacrifice things to do with like geometry and texture and possibly like frame rates and stuff like that. So I don't think you'll be seeing really good 60 frames per second high quality games until Unreal Engine 5 has been, and other engines, like if other engines take heed to what they've done, until these more optimized software accelerated engines come out and have been out for a few years. I don't think you're going to see anything quite like you saw in that trailer.
I will tell you who will benefit straight away, though.
Maybe on PC, not on console, though.
I'll tell you who will benefit straight away, though, I think, Howard.
Me.
People, I mean, yes, us, we'll be getting a like higher quality games, but people who play games like Sekiro and stuff like that, who already have unlocked FPS, but the consoles currently can't really achieve a solid 60 FPS all the time. So those being ported over to the next generation console will get kind of a little bit of an unfair advantage.
Well, they're going to have the backwards compatibility on the, especially at least I know on the PlayStation, so therefore all it means is the developers can now essentially put in a few measures to let the game run on higher graphical settings, better textures, better anti-aliasing, all that kind of stuff. So they basically don't really have to. This is what I like about the whole backwards compatibility thing, is they don't have to do a lot and they don't have to do a whole new game release. They can literally just do a nice big fat update for the PS5 and the Xbox, and basically go, here's the backwards compatibility update, and if somewhere down the line they choose to do a full like console remaster like they did with like Last of Us 1, which did have to be a full remaster because the PS3 would never run, the PS3 game never run on fucking PS4. So yeah, I think you'll see. I think you might see a few companies taking advantage of a new console cycle, but I think most companies will just release update files for their games, and they're probably going to get the biggest, like you say, the biggest boost out of the new consoles for a little while.
Just 60 FPS. I just love the option to say, just lower the quality of the game for 60 FPS. Yeah. Most of the time, I'm going to say yes.
It doesn't bother me too much. I've spent most of my life playing on 30 frames per second, so it's not a massive noticeable difference for me when I watch between 30 and 60 frames per second. I would say...
Oh, yeah, it's not a game changer for me by any means.
I'd say it improves hand-eye coordination because you are taking in a little bit more information. My response time does go up when I play a 60 frame. Like, I do understand that, especially in like a league kind of game.
In a fast-paced competitive scenario.
Yeah, but most of the time on a commercial release game, I'm not going to notice. Unless it's a game
single player, I'm fully fine with it.
Yeah.
But I do like it. I think I do like 60 FPS just for the fact that it feels smoother, and I can suffer the lowering of graphics. I've played Minecraft long enough, and nothing can faze me at this point.
The only problem with getting 60 frames per second, at least on a console anyway, is you have to lose a lot of the quality of the game to get 60 frames per second, or you can lose the 30 frames per second and put much more resources into the actual graphical and the word I'm trying to think of, physics of the game. Because you do have to reduce those things, especially on like the bog standard PS4 and Xbox ones.
See, game developers, don't take what I'm saying as gospel. Don't just make your game 60 FPS and lock it at that for everyone. Give me the option. If you give me the option to reduce quality, reduce everything to get me to 60 FPS and lock me there, give me the warning, say, grass is going to look real shit.
Yeah. Basically, but, it should always be an option.
Run real smooth.
Yeah, it should always be an option, and I don't understand why consoles haven't locked onto this sooner, because when I used to play on PC games, if I wanted a higher frame rate or if I wanted better textures, I might reduce the anti-aliasing for the better textures, and I might do this to improve the frame rate, and I play with the settings all day every day. So I don't see why they don't put that into console games, because it's not like you're changing the internal fucking settings of the console. You're just up and down in the graphics. So I don't see why they don't put that into more console games, to be honest, is more graphical options. Like, because
I think the only thing
sometimes you are fine sacrificing stuff.
I think the only reason that they probably don't is that they keep it. The only thing that I could think of is to keep it on even playing field, I suppose.
Well, it is, but we're putting in the caveat that I don't care. Like, give me the override option, like the one that when you press the button, you're literally saying, I don't care what this does to the game, how it looks or how it then performs, because I might rank everything up to highest quality and it runs at 2 frames per second, but I don't care. I just wanted to see how it would look, kind of thing. Like, give me the...
I just want to get screenshots.
Yeah, if it's not going to blow up the PlayStation, then let me play with the graphical set, especially if it's to reduce things, to improve other things. Give me those options, yeah. But just have it so, like, when you click on the graphics options, like you say, little message that just says, the game's not going to quite run like... the standard that we've produced, and it's like, yeah, I know, that's the whole point of the graphical options menu.
I told you I hate the grass.
It's like no one going into a graphical options menu, changing options, coming out and seeing that they've got lower level detail models and going, what? That's the whole fucking point of the menu.
So, to end that Unreal Engine 5, I have sent you a link to somebody who's recreated it in Dreams.
What, thing?
It looks quite impressive, I do have to admit.
I need to see this. Okay. Let's have a quick looky see.
It's just a shot from inside the cave. I think somebody actually did do one where they went in and got the statues, you know, the whole room full of statues.
Yeah.
They completely recreated that in Dreams. And
they've done a good job there. Obviously,
it's a
good job. Massively low level of details, but they've actually done a fairly good job there of creating at least like the light and colours. The geometry, though nowhere near as detailed, I can see like some of the stalagmites and stuff that have come down, and they've recreated those perfectly. It's all. I can never remember which one's up or down.
I can never remember which is up or down either.
Oops.
That's not up and down. That's leaving the room. Where you go?
Sorry.
So yeah, from one big reveal to another, Howard. Ghosts
My
of
nipples. No, what?
Is it Ghosts of Tsushima or Ghosts of Tsushima?
Ghosts of Tsushima.
Tsushima. So,
because I was saying for ages Ghosts of Tsushima, like, you know, like the fucking sashimi.
Yeah,
fucking sushi.
I like Ghosts of Sushi a lot more.
It's Tsushima.
It's probably more insensitive, but Ghosts of Sushi sounds a lot more tasty to me. So we got the reveal for. Well, I say the reveal. We've already seen sort of gameplay, but they've gone more in depth.
We saw in-engine footage. We certainly didn't see gameplay. After seeing the gameplay now, that scene where he was like climbing through like the rafters in that building in the original trailer and that clearly wasn't gameplay. That was clearly in-engine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, when you see like the way he moves and stuff, and the way the camera is angled and everything, now that you can actually see play footage, you can kind of see where they created some footage that looked very much like someone playing the game, but it wasn't. Yeah.
Okay, I will have to go back and watch that. So, what did you think of this reveal, Howard?
I loved it. It was really good. Yeah.
That was our review of Ghosts of Tsushima.
Goodbye. I only have one bad thing to say about it is, and I might be completely wrong. It might be different when the game comes out. Is it felt a little bit Ubisofty?
Oh no!
But that was only with the outposts, and to be honest, Infamous and Infamous Second Son. I don't know about that. Sunset Over, was it Sunset Over? I can't remember. They did another game, but their games do tend to have outposts kind of thing, and this game does look like it follows Sucker Punch's kind of style of game, where they've got two main systems for the game, two different ways of playing essentially, and getting two different storylines.
And Sucker Punch is a developer.
Yes, sorry, Sucker Punch is developing it. They're the guys who developed the Infamous series. And it basically looks like they've taken the concept that they have for their other open world games and have put it into this neo-feudal Japan setting.
So you've just answered my second question as well. I was going to ask you, is it open world or on rails, or is it a bit of both? Is it sort of sectioned off?
No, it looks like it's completely open world. You'll be able to, in fact, the traversal and some of the methods of gameplay actually reminded me a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2, especially your travel on horse, collecting resources to use.
I did like how the horse just sort of showed up. He didn't have to like run for 5 miles to get to you.
Clearly, it's just like always off screen. You press it and it'll just kind of spawn in wherever the camera's not facing. Perfect.
And see, that's the sort of realism that I am willing to give up.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give up the fact that my horse is always off screen.
In my Red Dead Redemption, I'll take it because there is no other game like Red Dead Redemption. But this game, there is a lot of other games like this game, like Ghosts of Tsushima, but I think this game does it better than that. Better than others, and I trust Sucker Punch because of how good the Infamous games were. Not necessarily the story, not necessarily the graphics, not necessarily all the stuff that make a AAA game, but the action and traversal in Sucker Punch games, even way back on the PS3 in the Infamous one, was probably some of the smoothest traversal. I had been enjoying Assassin's Creed up until the point I played Infamous, and I went, oh, this is what I was looking for in Assassin's Creed with the free running and stuff.
A bit speedier.
It was speedier. It felt smoother. You felt like hench when you were just literally just reaching up a building and climbing up it and then jump into a fire escape and then just like yeah, the traversal in their games has always been beautiful, and it looks like they've kept that in this game as well. Like really nice fluid traversal. So I'm glad about that as well.
I would like to ask you, what kind of game would you compare it to that's out already? What sort of games would you equate to this being similar to for other people who are like umming and ahhing about it?
Art style and cinematics, so kind of the aesthetic of the game, Red Dead Redemption, all the fucking way. The time and effort they've put into the music, into the voice tracks, into the way the game is displayed to you, like having that cinematic mode, having the camera mode built in, that the camera mode then allows you to play with in-engine effects and stuff, exactly like the Red Dead Redemption 2 camera mode. So cinematically, as kind of a product, feels very much like a Red Dead Redemption game already. Gameplay, more like an Assassin's Creed game, but then so was Infamous. Infamous was always a bit like Assassin's Creed, but it was less assassin-y because you were a superhero. Now you get.
I suppose it's always going to be in their DNA if they've made it sort of close to Infamous as well. Yeah,
it has more of a feel. I would say it feels more like Infamous, but I know more people will have played Assassin's Creed, and because this falls into the category of stealth game, it depends how you want to play, whether you want to play stealth or samurai, it falls into that same camp where it feels very much like Assassin's Creed because you're sneaking, you're free running, you're essentially assassinating people if you're playing as the Ghost especially.
Okay, so it offers you sort of different play styles?
Yeah, so in Infamous you could play as a good guy or an anti-hero.
A really good guy.
Well, the anti-hero, you still did heroic things. You would still run around the city like saving people and doing stuff, but your methods, your morals were completely off. So if you needed enough energy to save a group of people, you would literally drain the energy from another group of people. Like you were an anti-hero, you didn't particularly care how you did the thing. Or you could play it really well, but each one, it would like the more evil things you did, the more evil you became. Your power, the energy became like red and corrupt, and if you were good, obviously it was blue and quite ethereal, and it would come with different movesets. If you played villainously and if you played as the anti-hero, you actually got better powers. It actually made the game easier, but at the loss of, obviously you didn't get as good of a story because you were cunt.
Not many people like you at that point.
Yeah, but playing the game as a good superhero was actually really hard. The powers weren't as good, and you would drain faster and stuff like that because your resources were reduced. You could only drain enemies and nearby electrical sources if you played as a good guy. If you're a bad guy, you just draw it from wherever the fuck you wanted. A dog walking down the street, just no, that's mine now. In fact, yeah. So even back then, even though it was only a very simple split, it was diverse in how it played. And in this, you play as either as a ninja, essentially, because the whole point is not to be seen and to use dirty tricks. And the ninjas were actually seen as a disrespectful form of combat,
not fighting someone one-on-one.
Yeah, well, samurais were seen as the honourable fighters, essentially.
Okay.
Which is why you even see in the game they've given you the option if you're playing as the samurai, when you've killed someone, you can put your sword away and give them a nod your head to
That's
a worthy
really
opponent.
quite interesting. It's quite interesting that you don't have sort of you're either good or you're evil. You have a samurai or a ghost, which aren't
it's based
particularly moral stances. They're more like gameplay changes. That sounds very interesting.
Well, the way you play, actually, this is where, again, Red Dead Redemption comes in. It's honourable and dishonourable. So if you play as the honourable samurai, you would walk into a town and you would announce yourself, which they do in the game. You walk up and you challenge someone. So you walk up to the town, you announce yourself, you challenge the first person to a fight, and then you fight. You kind of walk in, and one by one, you'll take your enemies down. They will wait for you to take your strike, and then the next person will come in, and then you take. And they will. It's almost a little bit turn-based.
Okay.
Whereas if you're the ninja and you just dive in on someone and stab them, and 5 people see you do that, they will all just come at you and attack you.
And can you sort of choose when you want to swap to these? Do you know that, or
this we don't know. There was a kind of point in the trailer where he says, as Jin transitions from the samurai to the ghost. So it sounds like if you follow the main storyline the way it wants you to go, this is my assumption. If you follow the main storyline the way you want it to go, the way they want it to go, you'll start off the game as an honourable warrior, which then slowly through some mishaps, obviously, will end up being becoming the dishonourable ghost, because obviously then maybe you need to be more stealthy. It kind of creates this fear system. The more you create fear in the game, the more your enemies will fear you if you're the ghost. A bit like Batman.
Oh my god. That's awesome. I want to imagine that I'm playing as Batman.
I think that's the main track of the game, but I have a feeling they won't stop you from playing the game you want to play. So if you want to play as a samurai solidly, I don't think they'll stop you. And if you want to play from the beginning as stealthy, I think you'll have to get through a little bit of storyline where you're a samurai, and then you move into the ghost storyline.
Yeah. So it seems like it offers quite a lot of replayability.
I have a feeling I'm going to have to play the game twice, because I want to play both ways. I want to play solidly as a samurai, and then I want to play solidly as a ninja.
Yeah.
Did you see the trailer, or I can't remember?
Yeah, I did, but I'm just trying to get as much information out of you as I can.
Milk that boy dry.
Oh,
gross.
This is an 18+ podcast. So can you customize your character? Can you edit your character, or is it clothing, or is it just not at all?
Clothing, armor, and essentially you can get different styles of armor will do different things. I did see samurai with different levels of armor, like shoulder blades and stuff. I assume that's so you can maybe you can block, or maybe you can take less damage from arrows and stuff, kind of thing. And then, much like this is again where it comes into Assassin's Creed, if you find coloured dyes, which in this game are on coloured flowers, then you can essentially dye your armour and your clothes, make it look very nice.
Very nice. Oh, so you don't have to find the exact set, you can just colour it to... Okay, that's quite nice. I did see that you can pick up charms as well, which give you boosts and stuff like that. That
looks like it's basically just replacing the abilities tree that Infamous had, obviously, because you're a superhero. It was like, oh, you've unlocked a new ability, whereas in this it's like, no, you're going to need to go to a shrine and do this, and then you'll get a charm and that kind of thing.
I did see that you do have a techniques panel, which as well will be a skill tree as well. So you can you have both pretty much.
Yeah, I think like with the Ghost, you'll unlock things like smoke bombs, throwing knives, things like that. Whereas the Samurai, I think you'll unlock different stances, which will give you an advantage over the different enemy types and stuff like that. So I think the Samurai is more about swordplay, kind of realistic swordplay, whereas the Ghost is more about being a ninja. Like you will use a sword, but not very often. You'll more often probably sneak up on someone and dagger them.
There was a scene where someone stumbled out of fear, wasn't there, as well?
Yeah, that's the fear system. I'm interested in seeing how that develops, whether it's just like per encampment or if as you travel around the world, maybe your reputation starts to precede you. So before you even get to an area, maybe people have learnt about the Ghost, and you don't even have had to have visited that area before, and all of a sudden maybe people are a bit more hesitant to come like running straight at you kind of thing.
You just start making a little bit of noise and people start running.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so maybe at the beginning of the game you throw a distraction and the guy's like, hey, what's that? And walks over and you stab him. Later on in the game, maybe you throw a distraction and the guy's just like, I ain't got nothing up, and just runs away.
I've seen this one before.
Yeah, basically. Like, if they did like that level of detail, then that fear system would be really interesting. Otherwise, it's just a triggerable animation in a location, and that's a bit boring.
If it is as you say like that I think something like that might be enough to make me buy the game, because if you remember Shadow of War or Shadow of Mordor with the Nemesis system,
yes,
that was the thing that clinched me on that game. Just the fact that characters can remember me and we can have battles over and over again.
That's what I'm hoping is in this game. I'm hoping that the system is a bit like that, essentially. It kind of feels like, and I'm making a few assumptions, but it kind of feels like they've taken inspiration from a lot of different studios and a lot of big games that have come out over the last few years. And I think towards the end of development, after Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, they kind of went, put a really nice camera mode in, put really nice cinematic options, make sure the soundtrack is on point, make sure we've got authentic instruments, and people who can play them authentically, kind of thing.
Just basically a lot of studios just went, oh shit, this is really good.
Yeah, basically, the game is shaping up to be really nice. Let's put the extra money, because it's not extra work, it's extra money, because you basically then go out and hire artists and musicians and stuff. But it's basically they've gone, let's put the extra money and effort into shining this product up real nice. Let's make it feel like it's aesthetically correct for the time period, and everything else like that. And that obviously. They've clearly taken inspiration from samurai movies, so they were like, well, let's throw that in there, because Red Dead Redemption clearly took a lot of their cuts from spaghetti westerns and stuff, so let's just do the same. Let's go to the old Shogun movies and pull references from there. Let's put in that samurai cinematic mode, which I am absolutely probably going to play a third time on that mode. Because
so do you want to explain what that is?
Well, at first I thought it was just going to be, because in Red Dead Redemption you've got a cheat where you can make it sepia, and it kind of looks like sepia-ish. And it's but in this it looks like they've added actual film rendering to the screen, so you'll see actual grain and crackles and scrapes in the footage. They haven't just done black and white, they've done leveled black and white, so they've actually increased the lights and decreased the darks and stuff. They've added extra contrast. They've changed the lighting system's slightly different. Everything's more dramatic. They've made it more windy. They've probably introduced more particles into that system to basically make it look like, because when you would make these films, these old samurai films back in the 40s and 50s and 60s and things like that, everything would be, we didn't have CGI and stuff, so everything was kind of over the top. So when you see those waves crashing up against the thing in the background, obviously they would just be throwing massive buckets of waterfall, and the wind would be a giant fan, and they'd be putting blossom petals through it and everything. All this effort to make this room stage feel like a film. And then you've got to recreate that feeling in a big open world. We'll just crank everything up to 30. Make it ridiculous.
Make it lightning. Make sure there's a tornado in the background.
Yeah,
add a tsunami.
Make it feel like there's a crazy director in the background going, mow it! Mow! Yes!
You can't see the fighters or anything. He's just like, more petals. So
if you can't tell, I'm incredibly impressed with it, and I can't wait to play it.
Well, that's good. So that does lead me into my last few questions. Well, I guess I got the gist of what stood out to you in this. Is there anything that you saw and thought, no, that's kind of put me off a little bit? Not enough to not want the game, but just something you're thinking, shit, that's going to be a bit annoying.
Yeah, the thing I headed up the conversation with, which I think is it may feel a little Ubisofty with like outposts and stuff. And to be fair, Infamous did feel a bit Ubisofty. Like you used to have to, the maps would usually be locked into like districts around the city.
And then little quadrants until you unlock them.
Yeah, then you'd unlock the area, and I think once you unlock the area, you had to clear out that map area and make it safe again. And to do that, you'd have to like clear out some enemies and then climb a fucking light pole or whatever and do a thing. It was very Ubisoft. Hopefully, the outposts are more like little arenas that you can come back to anytime and kind of practice your methods on, but not necessarily like you've got to clear this for this area before you can fucking actually do any story missions. Yeah. Hopefully it won't be that. If it is, I will push through, but I'll probably think twice about playing it 3 times.
If it's a bit grindy.
Yeah. I might just play through the game on Samurai and then turn cinematic mode on and go around killing people instead of playing the whole game on cinematic mode again.
Just become really overpowered and just kill everyone in your sight.
Yeah.
There's just some guy just like picking his plants in his garden, and you just turn up. He goes, fucking hell, where did this wind come from? And then you just hear, as you're charging at him. Where's your sword? So the last question that I would have is, was there any story elements shown or anything like that? Or was it purely just showing off the engine and the gameplay and stuff like that?
No, I think the previous videos kind of did more of the story. Yeah, they did a trailer, the initial trailer, and then I think they did a trailer or two a little while ago, and they kind of give away more of like characters and story and location, whereas this one was purely just gameplay. So.
Okay. Well, it does sound quite interesting. Do we know when this is coming out?
July. I want to say the 17th. I think it's the 17th.
So, we shall move on to our recommendations. Do you have any recommendations this week, Howard? No, because I hate everyone.
I did have something actually, but I forgot.
Do you want me to go through mine while you have a look?
If you have it, yes, because I did have a playlist somewhere and I've lost it.
I do. I have another 3 recommendations for you this week. My first one is Primer, and it's a theory simulation channel, basically.
I think I might have watched these.
Yeah, they are quite popular. I mean, I think the last few got like tens of millions of views, maybe or millions of views, or maybe not tens of millions. But essentially what the videos are is that he takes a theory and runs it through an animation using little blob people. Some of it, if you go back and watch some of his older videos, you can kind of tell when the better animation came in because the views start to rapidly increase.
Yeah.
Most of them were just graphs and stuff like that. Whereas his more recent videos are like fully just simulated and animated and stuff like that. I think it starts off with the simulating natural selection and onwards. Pretty much where the better quality comes. So some of his video, because I won't give away too much about everything. So some of the titles of his videos that he's done are simulating natural selection, simulating supply and demand, simulating the evolution of aggression. So essentially with that one, he's just running simulations where some blobs will share food and some blobs will take food and then maybe take food from others, just to see which sort of methodology works out better. And the latest and probably the most topical video that he's done lately is it's epidemic, endemic, and eradication simulations, which I am yet to watch, but I'm very looking forward to that, as that will pertain to our current situation.
Oh yes.
And that's my first recommendation. My second recommendation is Ocean, who is a beat maker. If you're somebody who's into your music production, especially sort of hip hop, drill, trap music, stuff like that, he does a lot of like that, perfect.
That was my drill.
Oh, yeah. Like that, exactly. That
Perfect.
Cut it, use it in music. So I'm trying to find his website, actually, because I know he has a website, and I was going to put it in this as well, but I left it out, so I will find it while I'm talking about it now.
You bastard.
The reason that I sort of like watching his videos are because you watch some other beat makers and stuff like that, and they sort of just zoom through while talking about other stuff, and they don't tend to explain what they're doing and their thought process. Not everyone, but some of them, because obviously it's muscle memory, and you don't feel like you have to explain everything you're doing pretty much. Whereas this guy, you can see everything that happens just like from the beginning. So you'd see him just making his
starts with like a click.
Yeah, basically, and just goes through every instrument and just goes through his thought process with each one. So you can sort of glean a lot from him. Basically, I will put his website in the description. I'll find it at some point. But he sells his own beats and stuff like that. So
very nice.
He doesn't just make beats though. He does sort of like little challenge videos as well. Like he does time challenges where he's like, 7 minutes to make a beat. He did one where somebody else was listening to him create it and just telling him what it sounds like as he's creating it, so he can't hear it.
Okay. That's cool. blind music making.
Yeah, basically, it's a very interesting concept. Well, yeah. Oh well, no. So I'm ear blind. He also has sort of his girlfriend, fiance, wife, whoever, and his brother on to make beats for him as well. He just sort of giving tips and stuff. So I guess it sort of makes it look easier than it is when he's doing it, because obviously he makes it look extremely easy because he knows what he's doing. But as he's walking these people who haven't made beats before or haven't done anything like this, and makes it look easy while they're doing it, makes it look incredibly easy. And just lastly, he talks about what it's like in the industry to be like an independent creator. He is from the UK, but I can't. He lives somewhere else now. I cannot think of where it is, but he lives in, it looks like a lot hotter than in the UK. So it's probably a lot nicer, but yeah, so that is my second recommendation. Definitely check that out if you're into your music production. And my last one is Innocence, but it's spelled INNOCENCEII. He's a computer engineer.
I thought you were just going to say he's a computer.
He may as well be, because he knows fucking everything. He does breakdowns of sort of... Lately, he's been doing breakdowns of the next generation consoles and the Unreal Engine 5, which is basically where I've got all of my knowledge from for these, because he breaks them down and makes them very easy to understand. The one that got me interested in his channel was that he broke down that Mark Cerny speech. Do you remember the 1 hour architecture talk about the PlayStation?
Yeah.
He broke that down and explained sort of everything that he was talking about, because I got it at certain points, but then just some of the things I was like, oh, that's cool, and then he explained it in a way that made it seem, fuck, that really is cool. So definitely check him out. He's relatively a small channel. I think he's got 10,000 subscribers. I think he had about 5 when I found that 5,000, not just 5. 5,000 subscribers when I first found him, so he's kind of blowing up at the minute. So go and check him out. All of these links will be in the description.
All of them.
Those are my 3. I have got another 3 next week as well, and I shall be adding to my list every week. So,
I shall hopefully expand mine more next week. But yeah, just the 2 for today. If you don't already know of him, stand-up comedian Richard Herring. I don't know if you've heard of him. He had a
Richard Herring.
Yeah.
I will have to Google him so I can put a face to the name. Yes, I know him. Yes.
He's got a podcast. I don't know. I don't think it's like live at the moment. I think he had a few pre-recorded because it's called Rahelistaper.
Rahelistaper,
which stands for the Richard Herring Leicester Square Theatre podcast, because they tend to record it at the Leicester Square Theatre. But
very fancy.
It's kind of a celebrity kind of podcast, mostly comedians, but he does have other celebrities on, and he always has someone kind of fairly high caliber in British celebrity, and he just kind of does an interview. He has like silly questions and stuff. It's very kind of down to earth. Sometimes, especially in one of the more recent episodes with a bloke called Limmy. He was a producer, Scottish bloke who's recently opened up he's got his Twitch and his YouTube and stuff. He was the guy I was telling you about who plays trucking simulators.
Yeah.
And just screams shit at the screen. He's brilliant. I absolutely love him. He used to be on. He was on a Charlie Brooker show one of the years at some point. But he's really funny. And the latest episode was actually Michael Palin, the Monty Python man and documentarian. And it was probably
so he definitely has got some high quality guests. I suppose he definitely won't be having us on anytime soon.
So I thoroughly enjoyed. I've watched quite a lot of interviews with Palin, but I thoroughly enjoyed this interview because Palin's such a very silly man, and so is Richard Herring. So you put the two of them in a room together, and they're like two kids. Some of the other guests he's had on in the recent times, Connie Hook is a funny, and Charlie Brooker.
Definitely Charlie Brooker. Fuck yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
I do love a bit of Charlie Brooker.
Tim Minchin, Robin Ince. I can literally on every line I can kind of stop on one name. Nick Frost.
Fuck yeah! Yes, Nick Frost. I can. I can't vouch for him personally, but I can vouch for him movily. I like his movies.
But yeah, and he kind of anyone any kind of like age, he doesn't care. He's got one there with Ed Gamble, one there with Russell Howard, Sarah Millican, from all kind of spectrums. Sometimes it's stand-up, sometimes it's presenters or producers or writers. But yeah, he's got a very interesting little podcast. It's always funny.
And what was it called again? Sorry, what was the abbreviation? The acronym?
Rahelistaper.
An easily Googleable name.
I will. I'll put the thing in here.
So he's basically the British Joe Rogan.
They don't go into especially not such controversial topics, but they do. It does sometimes get quite open and raw. Like people have especially like with that episode with Limmy. In fact, I'd recommend going and listen to that episode if you're just in general a man who deals with any kind of depression and self-worth kind of thing. He's just absolutely brilliant, and he because he's completely unfiltered. He doesn't care. He talks about the times he tried to kill himself and stuff, and it's just it's completely raw, but he's such a funny man. And yeah, that was a brilliant episode. So the Limmy episode or the Michael Palin episode, I can absolutely recommend those straight away.
And just as a thing to sort of, if you want a visual of Limmy without having to Google it, just think of the video of the Scottish man being very confused that a kilogram of feathers is the same weight as a kilogram of iron, and he is the Scottish man.
So yes, Richard Herring's Leicester Square Theatre podcast, and it's less of a podcast actually because it's on YouTube. They've got full video, so if you want to watch, you can watch that
vodcast.
As well. A vodcast. My other recommendation is for anyone who enjoys the ukulele but is awful at playing it.
Here I am.
A guy, I can't remember his actual name, but his YouTube channel is called Ukulele Vlog Trips, and he just does some simple ukulele tutorials. To be honest, but I don't know. The way he breaks it down and the way he communicates it is... it just made it so much more simple for me. I immediately went, I can actually play this strange instrument.
Sometimes you just click with someone, don't you? You just click with their teaching methods more than others, even though they may be very similar to somebody else.
He's also very good on the instrument and has a really good voice, so it's actually quite enjoyable just to listen to. But ukulele vlog trips, and I'll make sure that's in the links as well. Very niche audience out there, but
so are we.
Someone's got to be as bored and lonely as me this pandemic.
Probably.
And that's our tune, because I left it leaning against the wall.
Perfect. Well, I think that shall do it for this. I think that shall do it for this episode. Oh God, Howard, don't smack your ukulele. All of the links can be found to practically everything that we've talked about. I may just start leaving one link out just to see if
all the links
notices.
Can be found scattered around my corpse.
Oh God. I did not know where that was going. You can check out all the links to everything at cluelessinter.net. You can follow us on Twitter at cluelessnet. I couldn't get the inter bit. You can email us at podcast@cluelessinter.net. I'll be streaming over on Twitch at twitch.tv/cluelessinternet. I start streaming around about between 6 and 7, most likely about 6:30, because I'm usually like faffing about making a tea or something. I go for a few hours. I'm currently playing Resident Evil 4 in anticipation of the remaster of that, which I will be looking forward to. I kind of want to just play this one and then have a long enough gap where I'll forget parts so that I'm still surprised by the remake. And I think that shall do us. We will be back either next week or the week after that. We hope that you enjoyed.
We hope that you will too.
Yeah, we hope we'll see you again or hear you somehow.
Thank
you. Goodbye.
Bye.